Okay, we're going to get started. We're rocking and rolling. You can stay if you want. Oh, mate. Okay, okay. We're starting. All right. This is Sammy. She's going to be taking over processing and how do you interact with processing and what our processing department does for you. Okay. She is, if we were only going by titles or hats, director of processing is probably what you'll know her for, but she's also like the backbone of everything. Okay. Very crucial, very important. She's ultimately going to protect you from yourself, make sure you're in check with the contract, and make sure everything's square on that end. Okay. So be on her good side. Uh, it'll save you. She's going to go over her team. I don't know if you guys are aware, most of it is based out of Guatemala. Um, all of them fluent in English, and just they're able to. She'll get into the nitty gritty of that, but I'll let her take away. This is Sammy. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Hi, everybody. I'm getting to know you guys little by little, and I really am excited to get to know each of you on a one-to-one basis more. Excited to introduce you guys to TCC. I am extremely passionate about our department, what we do for the agency, and it's a real treat to be a part of what you guys do on a day-to-day basis. We all do operate as a team, so as much as Casey says, there are a lot of hats, we all wear a lot of hats. And I think it's how we come together to really make that function fluidly and produce the best service for our clients and really round you guys to be able to do the most in your business on a day-to-day basis. So that's our goal. As Casey mentioned, we are comprised of 5 processors, 4 of which are fully trained operating processors. Our 5th processor is currently still in training. But to introduce you to the gang, we have Miss Kayla Rivera on the top left. She is our senior processor and has been with us for several years. Right next to her would be Pablo Espinoza. He is also a processor that has been with us for about a year now. Miss Beverly on the bottom left is one of our newer additions, along with Giovanni. They have both been with us under a year, but have grown tremendously in their time with TCC. I'm excited for you guys to get to know them all. They are individually amazing people. But just like you and I, they have things that they like and don't like too. So I ask that you guys get to know them on a personal scale. I'll throw one out for starters. Oh no, presentation is flying away. Give me one sec, guys. There we go. Miss Beverly does not like being called Bev. So let's please strongly avoid handing out nicknames that we don't know people are comfortable with. Same like, I don't like Sammy. I know Fee, right? Okay. So we're going to be on top of those type of things. Really kind of creating a good foundation working with one another. Now, to jump into the services that we do cover quite a bit as far as what our department lends to your buyer side of the transaction. Now, you guys are always the agent. You are the face of the transaction, and we want to support you as such. We are in the background assisting you to really propel your business and not be tied up with the day-to-day paperwork. So to that, we will prepare and submit an offer to the client on behalf of an agent based on the terms provided in that offer template. Our team works off an offer template just like listings does. It is designed and tailored to answer buyer-related questions. So once that gets submitted to processing, we will take point on writing up your offer. Once that offer is written and signed, sorry guys, a couple technical. Yeah, that'll probably be better. There we go. All right. Once that offer does get signed, that will come back to our team. Our team will then take action on sending that out to the listing agent. You will, of course, be identified as the primary point of contact there. We want them reaching out to you, negotiating with you. We will monitor for correspondence and facilitate communications on behalf of you. If there's an update you would like to convey, we're more than happy to deliver that. You are the point of contact, though, that is responsible for negotiations. We are not licensed individuals, so we will not be holding those conversations on your behalf. Remember, you guys are the shining star. TCs will assist in making counteroffer adjustments or changes if necessary to ratify. Upon ratification, TC will follow our office submission format. What that means is we will produce a ratification notice that capitalizes on all the pertinent timelines of your contract. We're going to circulate that to all parties, your lender, if applicable, the title company, to get them engaged and started on the transaction. We'll also deliver an immediate email to your client, letting them know that they are under contract. If your file includes a home inspection, we'll pull quotes from our preferred inspection companies, deliver those to you for you to have a conversation with your clients about scheduling their inspection, what type of inspection they'd like to perform, whom with, and we'll go ahead and get that booked for you once you've had that dialogue. After a file is ratified, this is also a different component of our department, but a crucial part. We take point on the compliance aspect. That gets uploaded into our compliance database, which is SkySlope. Your file is then audited to make sure that it does meet all state jurisdictional requirements. All forms are there, signatures, initials, everything is tidied, perfect. Now, in the event that it is not perfect and good standing, because things happen, we're going to make sure we go back in the back scene and get those items cleaned up. We'll be asking for support if we're getting nowhere with that. So if our listing agent isn't facilitating providing a needed disclosure, that's when I might look to an agent and be like, hey, can you give a phone call to help push this along, right? Because we all want to get to the same goal. We will continue to audit files up to settlement. Our goal is to have the file in perfect standing the week of closing. We really want to try to avoid having any last minute collection of items the week of closing. We also do assist in other matters on a day-to-day basis. So for example, if you are or have a resale package to your transaction, all the nitty-gritty components processing is going to fulfill circulating to your client, making sure the parties are all on the same page. We'll take initiative in asking about your timeline. So if you have a finance transaction, we'll be following up with the lender prior to your commitment letter being due to get a pulse on that transaction. If you already have one, go ahead and send that over to us. Loop us in so that we can all stay on the same team, same basis. Any other needs that you guys are requiring for your file, if you're purchasing a home warranty or something comes up after the map, send an email to our team. We'll happily get that ordered or situated within our SLAs, which we're going to jump to in just a minute. And then coming to our settlement. Happy day. Everybody is excited. We're closing. We're going to facilitate that closing coordination between you, the title company, the listing office, your final walkthrough, making sure that everybody is prepared and knows where we're going to be, when we're signing, and so forth. We've talked about our role in TCC, how we are the back-end support of the day-to-day operations in a real estate purchase transaction. Now, as a role of an agent, you hold a different hat, right? You guys are involved in so many things. You guys have to first meet with the client. You have to make that connection. You have to get them with the lender and then get out showing. So there is no doubt the amount of contribution. Like I said, this is a relay and we're a team. You guys are going to start that run. And then once it gets to the point of writing an offer, that's when you pass it to us. But that doesn't mean that you don't have day-to-day roles after an offer is written, or moreover, when it ratifies. So an agent is responsible for representing the buyer's interests and completing all negotiations with the listing agent through each step of the transaction, not just up to ratification. Our team will take instructions you provide and facilitate putting them into written contract format. But again, it's coming from you. You are the one who is going to be conveying this information to us. All communications do need to be in writing for TCC. We are a large operating team. We work 7 days a week. Keeping everything in written communication centralizes that dialogue so that we're all very well aware and we know what's happening. If Alex and I have a sidebar and that's not documented, I'm leaving you guys out of the loop. And it can be very misleading or create confusion. So always bringing everything back to writing is going to keep us in the best possible.
I have to say, sorry to interject like
No,
that.
it's okay.
We have a saying in our office, and I think that everybody should uphold to that. If it's not in writing, it does not exist. Even with a real estate transaction, we all can agree with things can be said and can talk about something, but if you don't actually put it in writing, forget about it. This not going to be enforceable. It's not a good situation for anyone, and that's the reason why we want to keep things in writing. It's a must. I also wanted to say about Sammy and her team. The reason why our agents are by far more productive than anyone else across the board in the real estate industry is because of her team. The reason why the creation of TCC was an idea of how do we compartmentalize the role of an agent that they can actually be by far more efficient and produce a lot more. If you guys are producing more, you guys are making more money and everybody's happy, right? But I also want to say that I don't ever, we don't ever want to be a situation where agents are looking down at our department of TCC because they're an intricate part of the process, and we should all as agents respect them very, very much because we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't because of that. So I want to give you, Sammy, and your team the actual respect and the credit that you deserve, because ultimately, we looked at an average agent, they're selling compared to what our agents are selling, which in the first year, our agents are selling. So about what, Casey, you want to say about 10 million, right? 8 million, 8.5 million to about 10 million, right? On their first year of real estate. So you talk to someone and tell them like, it's my first year in real estate and I was able to sell 8.5 million. They're going to be looking at you like, my God, man, what do you do? So I just want to kind of put things into perspective, and it all has to do with infrastructure that it's provided. And the reason why it was created is because we wanted to facilitate your role and make it a better experience. That's more of anything. I'm not the type of guy who is going to be, I move very quickly and sometimes I forget to cross my T's and dot my I's. And guess what? That's what we have. Sammy and her team, keeping us in line with what needs to get done. I don't ever want it to be a situation when you guys are getting upset as agents, like, oh my God, they're so meticulous about it. They need to be meticulous. That's the reason why we're a team. They're not trying to be annoying by any means. They're not trying to get on your nerves. That's not it whatsoever. They're only caring about you being compliant, making sure that you got everything you need, that nothing falls through the cracks. And guess what? If things are falling through the cracks, your transaction is going south. Your transaction goes south, you ain't getting paid because you guys are commission based. So, all right.
And to that, I think to add what Alex is saying, we're going to look out for things that, like he said, are not okay in our day-to-day real estate practices. But also, if we're unclear on something, we are not going to proceed unless we have your absolute confirmation. We understand your intention. So a lot of times when we're conversating with our agents, there is a gap between us being super specific, like we see all the detail, and agents are like, do this. And we need to know what that means. What is it? I'm so serious. I get emails all the time like, hey, can you guys schedule settlement? It's good to go. We're clear to close. Let's go. I'd love to schedule your settlement. What day, what time, and where are we closing? I need the actual information to operate. The more communicative you are with processing, the better of a relationship we will all have. The more detail you convey to us, the processor can be like, man, they're awesome. I don't have to ask too many questions, and we just get straight to the point, which is all what we want to achieve in being efficient.
And before you send your emails out, I got in the habit of that. Like read your email 3 times. Make sure you're not missing any details, because otherwise they start feeling like it's like pulling teeth with you. Like all of us, I include myself on it, because sometimes I'm not thinking things through. It's like, let's do this. All right, how are we gonna get it done? Like be specific on what are the steps that we're taking to actually get this thing done. we are the agents. We are, we're at the front end of the transaction. So we need to instruct our team on how is that we're going to go about, any specific thing that they're being asked to do. They're happy to help, but they don't have the instructions. Guess what? That it's not going to get done because it's an incomplete instruction, right? And I know we're moving at 1,000 miles an hour. So I get it 100%. But just try to be specific in your emails. There are times, and this is just an exception to the rule, what it will require a phone conversation just to kind of get them up to speed on what is that you're thinking, because obviously we don't want you to be writing a book, but just kind of summarizing everything, and then they'll follow through with an email saying, okay, as per our conversation, this is what we discussed, so you can get on the same page on what it is that it's trying to get that.
And likewise, if you're in transit, let's be honest, you guys are on the go 24/7, right? Like Alex said, those verbal conversations are going to transpire. We just want them to be documented so there's no misconfusion as to what was instructed. If you're driving, tell your processor, I'm in the car, I'm not going to be able to send that email. They'll take point on sending per our conversation. But let's say, for example, you told them we're going to change the sales price to $352 and they heard $382, something totally different. Those are the type of missteps that can be drastically negative to a real estate transaction. So as a following up to that conversation, processing would send an email saying, per our conversation, you instructed me to revise the sales price to, and that's your point to jump in and be like, no, you misheard me. Because again, we're trying to do our best, but if a misunderstanding occurs, it's unintentional. We're going to do our best to correct it quickly. If it does, then we move past it. All kind of human nature.
Absolutely. And Sammy, don't take it personal because she follows up with an email with me, and I have to confirm that's in fact correct. Thumbs up, go for it.
I'm like all very strict with him. I'm like, not just you told me yes on the phone. I'll then rewrite him like you told me yes at 11:57 and confirmed approval. All documentation.
So no questions asked. So
Nope.
if I make a boo-boo, it's on me, and then I have to be the one to explain to the client, oh, it looks like I screwed it up. Yeah, but it helps me. It helps everyone, because if I was moving at 1,000 miles an hour and I'm not really paying attention because I'm thinking of what I'm doing next, that helps me, and I know it's not getting done unless I give my thumbs up on things. All right. I think I'm gonna
You're
step
good.
out.
You're good.
But thank you, everybody. It's a great pleasure seeing you guys all, and I'll leave you guys with our amazing Sammy. Okay.
Thanks, boss. Just like most of your purchase contracts, guys, I emphasize time is of the essence. We want to move quickly. We want to get things done for you efficiently. So just we trap Alex in and don't let him go anywhere. We will move as quickly as you guys move. We do have response times, which we'll go over in just a minute. But we are aimed at delivering whatever is needed from you guys as quickly as possible. We also want to facilitate being that plug-in and responder when you are unavailable, right? It's not a great look when a listing agent sends you a counter and you've been showing and you can't respond for 3 hours. We want to be able to jump in and say, hey, we've received the seller's counter. Thank you so much for sending it to us. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Give them that acknowledgement. Let them know the team is fully aware a counter is presented or given. And then we'll come to you and say, hey, what are we doing with this counter? How's your client feel about it? And then we move forward from there. As far as general flows of communication, again, our processing department is going to send out your offers, send out your terms, which means we also may receive a response back. Just kind of looking into this further, if an email comes to processing that is negotiation related, again, we'll acknowledge it, but then it's going to revert back to you to say, what are we doing with this material? How are we responding to this? If it comes to you directly, let's say the listing agent bypassed our team and they went straight to you because you're the agent. That's not a bad thing, guys. Just loop us back in. Use our processing email to tie us to the conversation so we know what's happening. We can keep up with the changes, and that way we can better service your needs as soon as they arise. Where we do run into some conflict is kind of with the forward thinking process, right? When you're submitting an offer, if it does not comply with, like Alex said, some of our office policies, or moreover with general real estate practices based on the state, location, and type of property, we are going to flag those at the time of the offer so that What we are producing is a clean, well-presented document. We're not going to produce an offer that has a contradictory state or county issue to it and then send it out to the listing agent. They're going to be like, that's a reflection of you guys. We want to present something really, really well written. So if we see something along the course of your instructions that deviates from our standard protocol, we'll bring that up to you. We'll say, hey guys, we need your feedback on this. Please prepare that can delay things. So coming correct with your offer template first is critical. The better template you give us, the better performance we will have. Any questions before we get into our next part? Am I losing anyone so far? You guys with me so far? Yep. It's kind of cutting off at the midway point.
Yeah, where it says that you're gonna
Yes.
use to reduce the
Very.
admin fee.
Yep. So with this, if you are taking a unilateral decision on behalf of the brokerage, if you are waiving an admin fee, if you are voluntarily reducing your commission to the client, that is a decision made on behalf of you as the agent. So that is not something that as a company, the company is going to lend to that financial contribution if it was not previously discussed. Emphasis on previous discussion. We're not just going to assume, oh yeah, we're totally fine giving $5,000 of our commission away. That's a conversation and dialogue that needs to be had. Obviously, there are definitely times or circumstances where a file is falling apart and we want to salvage it. We're all here for the same cause, but we have to also weigh what's going on. Is it worth us, or where do we stand, and really take that in as a whole? So anytime you are looking to give a credit, reduce an admin fee, or take any changes to our office policy, have it be a precursor conversation. Definitely probably before you talk to your client. You don't want to go in and be like, yeah, no, our admin fee, we don't have an admin fee. And then you have to go back to them, or you have to pay it.
Can I just add one thing, Sammy? Just
Yeah.
from, like, a leadership perspective?
Please.
It actually is really great.
If you have a client who is asking about the admin fee, like, is you charge, and almost all of the clients that I have, like, oh, what is this admin fee? Oh, do I have to pay that? The best thing to say is, well, usually what I tell people is, any client that does a transaction with our brokerage pays this fee. It's pretty standard. That's not something we can really get out of. But if it's a really huge problem, or if it's a financial issue, then I can take this back to my broker and ask for permission. Usually the client will say, oh no, that's not necessary. Or they'll say, yeah, would you mind asking? And then you can go and ask, and the answer could be no, and they might be fine with that, because some people will just ask for the sake of asking. So don't be so quick to give away like an admin fee, which is not a lot of your commission. It might not seem like a lot, but it adds up. I used to give away admin fees all the time, and I've stopped doing it, and nobody got mad at me.
Good. Very, very solid point. Now, with that being said, there is one instance only where an admin fee is not charged, and that would be a VA financed transaction. VA financing will never allow you to charge a buyer an admin fee. So if you are doing a VA transaction, you can prepare that $595 or admin charge is not going to be charged to the client. There's also a document that Paul helped us create, which is explaining your admin fee, being able to also converse to the client, what does this charge even mean? So that is something that we will also share with you guys as a resource for those more difficult conversations. Okay, so coming over to our SLAs, you guys are going to hear this a lot. We refer to our service level agreement, SLA, all the agents who left and all the ones who are not here. So there are a lot of you guys, and we love that. But to be able to really make sure we are attentive to all of your needs, we need to create realistic timeframes of responding to your needs. We definitely understand that our industry does not sleep, does not stop, and there is a likelihood you might have something pop up after the end of our working hours. I am your person. Reach out to me. We'll get it done. I will facilitate what you need done. The only thing I ask is that if you're reaching out to me after hours, I do try and have somewhat of a personal life, like occasionally. We joke about it. So if it is after hours, I prefer a text message than an email. It's faster for me to see it. I'm trying to like step away from my email for like a blip of a second. And text message, I will always be able to see much faster. So if it is an urgent matter, that is totally permissible to text me. I will give you guys my phone number so you guys all have that and may already have it from the chat. But if anyone doesn't, please see me. I'll be happy to pass that along separately. Yes, sir.
Can you give us an example of what would be great?
Sure. So let's say they are presenting offers at 9 a.m. That's before our starting time at 10 a.m. Feasibly, even if you submitted that offer to us, it's within our closed window. So somebody is going to need to work on it before the start of the shift. That would be an urgent matter. If it's being presented at 12, we have 2 hours to cover it after we start. That would not be considered urgent. Another urgent matter is, let's say you guys already submitted an offer and you're trying to ratify it. If y'all have something that is pending ratification, let's go. Call me, we will get it done. Because you guys ratifying is good for everybody. So anything that once our department is closed, what would, again, not necessarily be urgent is, hey, I didn't respond to my home inspection contingency and it expired and it's been expired and now I want you to jump on working on it. That is not going to be a conducive use of time. So that's what we're really watching out for there. Now, due to the fact that we service all production members, we have our designated response times. That is 2 hours Monday through Friday and 4 hours on the weekend. We will always try and aim to get it done on the sooner or closer end of that window. But for when things are really picking up, it is not uncommon. I've gotten 10 offers in a span of 15 minutes because we cannot control when every single person is going to be sending us a template. We might get one offer or we might get 30 that week. Really is a very uncontrollable metric. So these timeframes will allow you to A, have a realistic expectation from us, B, set a realistic expectation for your client on when they will be receiving their offer. Please do not tell them, hey, yep, I'll get this offer to you in 20 minutes. It's not a practical statement. Also, to help you create realistic timeframes with the listing agent, I'll get you my offer today, later this evening. That way you guys are, being able to fall through on what you are saying you're doing. Yeah.
Do you always want to be the one to do everything on the document, or like, let's say it's 10 o'clock at night and I happen to be available, and I jump in and just do it
So
instead of bothering you?
I love your thought process. That's not how we're currently structured as of now. I'm not going to say that it might not shift as we continue to grow. Theoretically, I am one person. So I do want to service and make sure that's achieved. But if we get to a point where it's not and it's hindering any agent, we will absolutely change that so that it's not a problem, or open it up to another fashion, either bring in another processor or maybe look at something like the agent having access. To say currently no, but in the future, it might change. It could change. Cool. Okay. Now, going back to what you guys give us is what we work off of. So these SLAs are going to start when you give us something we can work with. If you send me a material that is incomplete, I have gotten an offer without a sales price and without an address. That's a great idea. I'm going to take a dart and I'm just going to throw it. Yeah, right. My question was, do I get to decide? Do I get to pick the house and the purchase price? No, I don't. So that, again, it starts with what you convey to us. If you give us good material to work off of, we will be able to use our tools and the way we're structured to respond accordingly. And then we have just a quick brief. This is not cooperating, guys. I'm so sorry. A brief synopsis of those SLAs. If anybody wants to take a screenshot, write it down. Just wanting to really capitalize on these for you guys. A little bit more about our department that we're going to finish up talking about is the way we are structured. So I did mention that there are 4 processors, myself, and a 5th in training. What that means is that you are assigned a processor per file. It is not currently in a I would say specific delegation, I have a rotation based on their file counts that we follow. So what that means is you will not be working with one processor in particular. You will get to work with every single processor. With that said, we are aware that as a growing department, this used to be, like Alex said, just 2 people, and it was a little bit different. So as we're evolving, we see that processing is evolving as well. What we've operated with is that there are all of us replying because we are a 7-day-a-week department. So in order to achieve that, that means that I may take part in your file, or Beverly may take part in your file, but Kayla is the assigned processor. That sounds like it can get kind of hectic, right? Like, who am I talking to? Where do I go? Processing at alexgroupre.com is all of us. That is one domain that comes to the entire team. So we ask that you use that when communicating to us. You don't have to, if you know the person or you're responding to Giovanni directly, absolutely, you can address Giovanni. I might reply back and we get a chance to talk that day. Or if you're unsure who you're talking to, hey team, that works just fine. Hi guys. Hey, don't have to worry about, I need to figure out who it is. We can work past that. As long as you send it to processing at alexgroupre, the covering working processor is going to respond within the SLAs that we just covered. That includes during our rotating weekend. So every processor takes a weekend on call to provide that full 7-day-a-week service. So you will receive on Saturday mornings an email from your processor on call saying, hey guys, I'm your point of contact. And that will allow that the other 4 processors not working get to enjoy their work-life balance. I really ask that we do not contact the processors during their off times. They are not 24/7 like we are, right? Agents take on a different lifestyle. We are go, 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 go. And the processors are right there along with you, but there is a separation. They are administrative. So I ask that they not be contacted during their off hours. If anything is needed when processing is closed again, please come to me and I'll be happy to help you guys. Cool? Yes, ma'am.
So if we send it to processing at the Alex Group and then a processor reaches out to us, so from there, can we assume that we are dealing with that processor and just email them directly, or do we continue to kind of CC you guys?
Continue always to CC. Because with our department, covering from 10 to 7, we have split shifts. So you will have half of a working schedule is our morning crew, and then the evening crew covers the remainder of the day. So if you send your email, let's say at 6:30, you're catching the evening crew, not the morning crew. So that way, if you just kind of keep it generic, you're not going to ever really be wrong. Or if you are directly, like I said, if you're replying to Beverly, but she happened to leave, you are not going to offend one of the other individuals who's picking up on her transaction. They know that that is part of their job function, is to assist their processing colleagues with keeping the momentum running in their absence. Absolutely. Any other questions, guys? Please.
So is it just, from my understanding of the structure, is it that only one person on your team will be checking the email at any given time so that you don't risk 2 people responding to the same thing or working on the same thing?
That is a great question. I apologize, I did not make that very clear. No, so we are all hands on deck between 12 and 6, but 10 to 12 is covered by 2 people and 6 to 8 is covered by 2 different people. So there is a period where everybody is on deck working. That way, during that time, individual processors will respond to their files accordingly. It's just the overlap so that we have this extended coverage where you'll see other processors jumping in to help other processors. We are working, and I get really anxious, guys, to say things prematurely. Like, that's so not my nature, because I really want to have everything like perfect. Oh man, I should run out. We are working on finding a way to really streamline what the correspondence looks like leaving our inbox, because we do know that as we continue to grow, having 5 processors right now is manageable, but as that number increases, it's going to get a little bit harder to manage that. And we want to make sure, not just internally as a team, you guys know who you're communicating with, but outside of our office, that it also makes sense as well. So that's something that's in motion. I don't want to make any promises yet, but just know that we are aware that there is some improvement we can make there, and that's something we're working towards. Cool.
One thing that I had done on a previous used to, I don't know, a long time ago, where they had like the emails that were, I guess, could be time for you guys. And they had one, for that, and then they just named, it was like a generic name, like
Mhm.
Alex would be a boy's name or a girl's name.
Yep.
My assistant forever was somebody I never met named Alex, but really was me, or was somebody else on my team just pretending to be that name, and it worked.
It does. We are toying with those kind of options. So I love that you're already right along there with it and familiar with it. What we want to manage and still separate, and this is kind of segue, I apologize, guys, is the individual mailbox organization so that that doesn't get chaotic because they still also need to be aware and keep up with what's happening in their files. So you guys know it's never just one quick, easy, let's check it off and it's fixed, but we will get there. That is one thing that I truly love about this company is that it is not stagnant. We are always growing. We're always achieving and doing more to be better. So that's something that you will notice that really with TCC, this is my baby. I love these guys. Like I can't even tell you. But we're all human. There are going to be times where I might make a mistake. And if I do, I apologize in advance. I am not perfect. Okay, that's okay. Maybe once. I give you one. If ever TCC makes a mistake, I support the same mentality we do with agents. We don't ridicule in public. Never going to embarrass anybody. It's not the way we operate. So if there's something that needs to be given feedback to an agent, we'll pull an agent aside separately and give them that feedback. I ask that same respect be carried over to TCC. If you have an issue with the processor, please come see me. Please do not put it into a group email where their colleagues are going to be exposed to that. We really want to make sure that the dynamic is strong. If there's an issue, we'll talk about it, we'll fix it, and we'll move on from it. Okay? Very good, guys. Well, that concludes my training. I'm a really fast talker, so I don't know if everyone was prepared for that, but next week we'll get into a little bit more about TCC and really submitting an offer template, communications to our department, what we're looking for when those are occurring.
Will you have a copy of the template? to show
Yep.
us next week?
Yep, you're going to get a copy of a template. We're going to play around with it. We're going to take some shots at it, and then we'll go from there. Yep, I'll circulate it with you guys as soon as we're done. We do. I'm not going to be the one to tackle that one. That is for later on in the training schedule with Alex, but it will get rolled out. Cool.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here.